Okay, perfect.
Okay, so as Dr. Betaw shared, we're trying some new things. And so Dr. Betaw and I are in a group called Personalized Learning. And it's basically to let students have more choice and voice in some options. And so instead of me standing at the front of the room and always doing like, for Ambacia and Connor, they know we do interactive notebook and then they'd have an assignment. So it's basically more of like a menu of choices. And so one of the things that we're looking at is at the beginning of the year, learning more about students, but giving them some voice and choice. So I came up with a, like I said in the beginning, I've been playing around with technology. And so one of the things that I've been using a lot is Google Slides. And so I have created, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. So I've created a Google slide. Now here's where I'm not sure if I can like, this is what I wish I knew more about. I don't know if I'm gonna move myself over here. If I share this, now you guys, nope, I'm gonna do this. So did that change for you? Do you see it in present mode? Yeah. Oh, awesome, good, that's what I wasn't sure. So this is what, like this is what you would see. And then I'm not sure if it's interactive. You're my first group that I've tried this with, so thank you for being patient. So like I have the information here, but if you click on this, it's like me giving you the information in an audio in case you're an auditory learner. And then basically what it says is that I have 6 different ideas for you to tell me about yourself. Then down here, I have some tools that you can use for each of these 6 items. And then over here to the right on the dry erase board is the requirements that would be in each of those 6 displays. So the first one I used was Adobe Spark. And then I have an Adobe Spark example up here where I've put together pictures and video clips as well as a voiceover. Can you raise your hand if you've used Adobe Spark before? Okay, so not very many of you. Okay, that's awesome. So again, if you are interested in doing this, you could look at my video and you can go to this, which gets you, it's a free account, our students have it. And so you can sign up with your USD 383 and kind of play with it. The next one would be Google Draw. Raise your hand if you've used Google Draw. Okay, and so here you can go to get to Google Draw, and then I didn't do a Google Draw. I've used it for a few other things, but I didn't have to, I was trying to get all this done for you guys to have at least one example of each, but that's where I'm needing your help, because if you know, like when you're with a teacher in the classroom and the teacher says, here's a project, it's always nice if you can see different examples. And so that's what I'm needing from some of you is to pick one of these, 2 of these, none of these if you don't have the time, but give us some examples so students could say, okay, I wonder what that looks like. And the more variety, like some people might do an Adobe Spark and it may not have any voice in it or any music in it. It may just be a visual display. And so it's nice for students to be able to see those things. Again, just to kind of show you my formatting, because that's what I'd want to do in my classroom. This third one over here is Bitmoji. How many of you have a Bitmoji? Raise your hand. Okay, I've spent, oh, awesome. I spent a lot of time, and this is like my outlet. When I am like overwhelmed, I love messing with Bitmoji just because you can do so much with it. And so not only can you, let me see if I click this. Let's see if it's interactive. Oh, that's not what I want. I'm going back. I'm gonna try this one. Can you see that? Does it say Bitmoji Classroom Props?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what I've thrown in here is if you are familiar, you go to a new Google slide and then you clear it all out. And then basically from this, some teachers put together all of this transparent furniture and props. And so you create your own, here's just one background, but you can search in transparent backgrounds. If you've done any of this, you know what I'm talking about. And so it gives you the opportunity just to be creative. So what you see here in mine is my a Bitmoji classroom, where I've got all these different links to all of these different things. I'm still learning about it. So as you just saw, I clicked on something and it didn't have what I wanted to go. And Dr. Avy's been working with me because she says there's something called a transparent overlay. So when students click on something that doesn't have a link, it won't go to the wrong thing. So I'm working on that still. But anyway, do you kind of see how like Adobe Spark goes to this picture frame of an example of Adobe Spark? Google Draw should go here. Bitmoji goes with this one. I try to keep it in order. Then I said, okay, I heard Dr. Betal saying you guys, some of you have used Flipgrid. I know we used it a little bit in my Math 8 classroom last year. So maybe you have an idea of how you'd want to share these things through Flipgrid instead, or some other form that you think it would be cool to tell us about yourself. Another one that I know some of you are familiar with that I felt was a lot like Adobe Spark, like they're compared a lot, is iMovie. And so I was trying to give different modes, meaning Connor and Ambacia, you know this one, it's the shield we did at the beginning of the year. So maybe you don't want technology. Maybe your eyes are hurting, you want something different. So you could go to this shield and you could just print it out and then just take a picture of it and send it in. So I didn't want to make them all internet-based or technology-based. So I was trying to give some options. And then this one here, I called it Type It Up. And so basically I just went to a Word document and then I typed up the information about myself instead of making it interactive. So I just went through these ideas and typed something up. And so I have that example there if you click. So again, let's try this. I'm not going to listen very long because I hate listening to my own voice, but.
Your task is to
Can you hear
create
it?
an all about me display.
We're not going to listen to all of it, but so that kind of makes sense. So again, I heard Dr. Betal say you guys have a lot going on. I feel like this may be an outlet for some of you, like instead of like doing your higher level math or all of that stuff, if you have some time and you just want to show us a little bit about yourself. Some of you who like pictures and movies and have some good ideas on your phone, it's easy with the technology. Even I can figure it out, so I know you can figure it out. So, but again, I'd love to have some examples from some of you that we could show. Because Dr. Betal, I don't think you know this, but I was talking to Mrs. Klein, and we may actually have the teachers start here because we have to do some personalized learning, professional development with the teachers. So I may use this if it works well. And have teachers tell the students a little bit about themselves with one of these modes or a mode of their choice. And we're thinking about putting this into 8th hour, as well as into our e-portfolio, as Dr. Betal was talking about, because like she said, the first section is called demographics. So we thought this would be a fun way for students to tell us a little bit about themselves. And we thought those requirements that you saw on my dry erase board would be good requirements for all students to share. And felt like they'd be pretty comfortable. Any questions for me? I talk fast, sorry. I thought I heard somebody starting to talk.
I started to, but I'm on my phone. I have to run 2 Zooms because my school computer has a terrible microphone.
Oh, gotcha.
So I have you going in both rooms. I have to run back and forth. One's a bigger screen and one's a better microphone. I did put in a health ticket. But anyway, the question I have is, there's an other category. So like if I wanted to do a podcast, would that work?
Yes. Do you guys know about Nearpod?
I've heard it talked about. I've never used it. Raise your hand if you've used it.
So I just signed up for, I actually purchased a class and I get it for free for a year by doing this professional development, but I honestly haven't had time to do the professional. It's on my list of to-dos for this week. So, but my daughter's also getting married next weekend. So it's crazy in my house.
Hey, can you send me a link to that training so I can do that?
Yeah. Well, let me look at it first to make sure I think it would be appropriate. But yes, it's like it's called Get Your Teach On, and it's just one breakout session, and it was $30, but it gives me a free. But I don't know a lot. I don't even know if podcast and Nearpod are the same thing. They could be totally different for all I know. So But
Okay.
I'll check into it and let you know.
Perfect.
But
We're
yeah,
always trying
they-
to collect new ideas.
Yes, and they definitely could do a podcast. That's what I'm saying. There's so many things. I kept changing my 6 items, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to take one out. I took iMovie out and put in free choice or your choice or dream it, whatever you think would be a fun way to share about yourself.
Okay, can we have some response from the crowd?
We lost you, Lisa. Dr. Vita.
Will you raise your hand if you're interested? Now for Connor and Ambasia, this definitely would be you could get community service hours for the high school. Let me, okay, hold on. Whoops, sorry. Gotta mute myself. Sorry, I should have muted myself. I just took a picture of the hand raised. So Mrs. Miller, now I know who is interested. I have a record.
Gotcha.
Okay, any questions?
Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Is that okay? Or should I pause it?
Just stop recording.
Okay.